Hey, what's going on, champs? I'm Aaron Deliosa. Welcome to an Immigrant's Life podcast, my podcast about immigrants, immigration, and everything in between. Another week, another opportunity to share an amazing story from another amazing immigrant. But before that, housekeeping. For the OGs, thank you for your continued support. And for the new ones that are just joining our community, welcome and thank you as well. If you must know, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at An Immigrant's Life. You can listen to the podcast on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, if you or someone you know would want to come on and share their immigrant story, please do not hesitate to hit us up. You can contact us through the social media accounts I've mentioned on the top or through email at animmigrantslife@yahoo.com. I'll be waiting and be expecting your messages. Now, let's talk about the episode. This week's episode is about a father that left his family to migrate to the Middle East so he may provide them a better life. Champs, wait till the guest reads his daughter's handwritten letter to him. It will make you cry. So, without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today's guest is an industrial engineer, but most importantly, a family man. Everyone, please welcome Norman the Bullet Bala.
Hi, hello.
Hey Norman, how you doing?
Fine, sir. So far, so good.
How so?
Yes. Irrespective of what is happening here in uh, our area, especially here in the Middle East, we try to cope up with the complexities of our daily life because we need
Exactly.
to.
Yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do. We can't just stop, right?
Correct.
You know? So, where were you from originally?
I was born in Nilasin Second Pura Tarlac. That is a barrio, actually.
Mhm.
And I am actually I am the eldest of the three gentlemen, wherein my mother is coming from the family of politicians, and my father is from the farmer side. That's why I have a colorful, what do you call these memories when I was young.
Oh yeah, tell us.
Yeah. Well, basically, my grandfather from my mother's side is a former mayor of our town,
Hmm.
and he was once a famous mayor. Well, actually, you can search his name on Facebook or in history.
Hmm.
His name is the Honorable Severino Tolentino Valdez from Pura
Hmm.
Tarlac. So that one was way back 1970s to early 1980s.
Hmm.
So as a matter of fact, they are telling our oldies now. Actually, they are telling that he was like a Duterte during his time, because he's not going out. He's going out of the area of our small town even without bodyguards. And I am proud to say that he was once chosen as one of the 10 most outstanding mayor of the Philippines during his time.
Wow.
Yeah,
So that's in around the Marcos era, which is the
correct. Yes.
okay.
But during
What?
that time, he was under the leadership of Ninoy Aquino, because basically Tarlac is from Ninoy Aquino area.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. So for the listeners that doesn't know these names that we're mentioning, you can Google it. Marcos was
Yes.
a dictator of the Philippines for what 30 years plus,
Yeah. Yes.
and he had a he they used to be friends, but they became rivals after. Who's the guy that Norman mentioned, which is Ninoy Aquino. So,
Mm.
and you mentioned that your dad was from the farmer side. Are we
Yeah.
talking about like poor
They are
farmer or we're
farmers.
doing well farmer?
Not so well farmers, because my father also is the eldest son I mean, they are five brothers also, and he was the eldest one.
All boys?
So all boys also. So I think we came from that genes also because we are all three in the family, all boys also.
Mhm.
So I have learned when I was young, I have learned how to uh, plant palay and go to the fields and take some root crops.
Wow.
And even, of course, when you are coming from this type of families, every centavo that you earn from that hardships at the field is very much important. I can still remember that way back in high school, if I want to buy for my shoes, I will go to my grandmother in my father's side and I will ask her if I can take some mongo beans and I will try to sell that one. And you can imagine that two sacks of mongo can only be two small cans of mongo when you already try to cultivate it. So way back
Oh.
then, it was only 200 pesos, I think. And that could be a good opportunity for me to buy shoes already.
Hmm.
So those are my younger years when I was in the province.
Wow. So, you know, in the Philippines, there is a clear cut between the rich and the poor, right?
Yes. Mm,
And I'm assuming your grandfather, the mayor,
yeah.
is doing well.
As a matter of fact, to tell you honestly, why he had been chosen as 10 of the most outstanding mayor during that time is that basically because our town is a poor town. Okay, Pura Tarlac has been a poor town in Tarlac before. So what he did in order to sustain and improve the town itself is that he sold three-fourths of his what do you call this family heirs so that he can
Whoa.
improve the town itself. Well, basically, uh, it's not a it's not only a story, but all those people who are near us and even the things that they did during that time is still intact, as you can see from our town right now.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Plus the the documents which was being used for the selling of these heirs still with our small treasures from our small house in the province.
yeah. Okay. So originally, my question is, in the Philippines, there's a clear cut of the well-to-do and the poor.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that your dad came from like a farmer family.
Yes.
Was there like a friction or resistance from your mom's family when she decided, you know what, I want to hook up with
Yes. At first instance, yes, there is, according to my aunts. As a matter of fact, I was not with my mom and dad on my first years because they are afraid of the power from my grandfather that he will do something about it. So I had been taken by my aunt by I think 1 or 2 years, and when they had already took the opportunity to and the courage to talk to my grandfather, so that's the time that because I was the first grandson, so it took a while also, but eventually it became a opportunity to become a unity of to have a unity for both of the families as well.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's you're afraid to tell them like, hey, by the way, I'm with him now or I'm with her now. But once you
Yeah.
present that baby, game
Yes.
over. All
Yes.
that heart that is made of steel will just melt.
Yes. Especially during the time that my mom was, uh, she just finished her college degree when I was born.
Wow, shout out to your dad. Boy got game.
Yeah.
God damn, man, that boy got courage, man.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, did you have a good childhood?
Yeah. I have a good childhood because uh, that's why I was after that incident. When my mom and dad already had the opportunity to take care of me, uh, from I think I started my schooling from grade 1 to grade 4. I was with my grandfather and grandmother from the mother side. That's
Why?
why, uh, because we are living in Poblacion and there is a barrio where I was born. So I am going in barrio. I'm living with them both. That's
Oh,
why
okay.
I'm a grandmother and grandfather's boy, as what they told me, because they took care of me. That's
Yeah,
why
because you're the first one.
yes. So that's why when they died, it really hurts me a lot. But every time that I remember my childhood, I really still treasure those memories with them.
It's
I'm
awesome.
sleeping with them both in their room.
Yeah, yeah, that's so typical Filipino.
Yes.
They're gonna take their favorite one and they're gonna make them that kid sleep with them.
Yeah. Plus, I had the chance to, because my grandfather, second to the last position that he did in the government is the provincial warden in Tarlac.
Mm.
So I had the chance to go with him in his office, wherein you will see the presos as we call. But it's just like I don't
Prisoners,
know
you
how
mean?
to the prisoners.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So I have these good opportunities and memories. And the last the one thing that I will never forget that he told me is that don't enter to the world of politics because because he told me that the dirtiest game in life is in politics. Well, there are a lot of instances that I can remember with him. When I was young and he was driving his car, I thought that it was only a toy gun. Well, in fact, I have with me some Armalites on the beside me when I was riding with him because I'm a
Some
provincial warden. Yes.
armed to the teeth your
Uh,
grandpa was.
yes. So
So
that's good. It's plus your memories when you are young, you are uh, playing at the fields, so catching some exotic foods.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I love
Yes,
it.
yes.
And by the way, just for reference, Tarlac is how far is it from Manila?
Tarlac is, if you are coming from Manila, it's only 200 to 250 kilometers away from Manila.
That's no Philippine traffic though. That's like clean running.
Yes, yes.
If we include traffic, it could be like a week.
Yes. But now they have already opened this Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway.
Okay, that's
So if you
awesome.
are coming from Manila and you are going to use that one, previously it might take you, yeah, as you told, maybe 1 week because of the traffic. But now, if you have your own vehicle, especially, you can only run that one for 2 hours, one point
Yeah,
five to 2 hours. Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Mm.
So, was there in your family that followed your grandparents' steps, or he was like, no one's gonna follow me?
Yeah, he one of my uncle followed his footstep, but until barangay only. No
Okay.
one has joined the national government already.
Why so?
Um, Basically, because first, as I've told you, most of our heirs or the resources has been already gone because of my
Oh,
grandfather. So no chances. Because
wow.
uh, he ran also for national government during the time of Miriam as a candidate of Tarlac again, Pura Tarlac as a mayor.
Okay.
And during that time again, all the resources has been pulled out. So maybe my uncle also already witnessed the real scenario why he was not able to join the national government. Well, in fact, you really need to have a lot of resources when you run in the
Yeah,
government.
you're right. Was there a resentment towards your grandpa's sacrifice?
Yes, there is. Because my aunts and my uncles, they are telling that if our father didn't run for the government, maybe each one of us has their own car, their good houses. Because basically, my grandfather was third from the four siblings, but during the Second World War, all his siblings died.
Oh,
So he was the lone. What do you call this? He has all the heirs from their family.
wow. How
Mm.
did they die, if you don't mind me asking?
One died during the Bataan March. That march,
He was a soldier?
he was a soldier. Yeah,
Okay.
and then the other two are still young when they died.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Wow. And high school, did that happen around your high school days or college days?
We-
When
Uh,
you were like, when you the family starts struggling?
oh, elementary days. My
Oh, it started early.
primary days. Yeah. Mm.
So, because you mentioned to me that you were a working student during college days.
Yes, yes, yes. During college days.
What kind of job did you do?
Uh, I was the first job that I took was a in fast food chain. As a matter of fact, I am one of the pioneer employee of KFC in Baguio. We opened the first KFC in Baguio. I think that was way back late 1990s. I think 1998 or 1999.
Mm, wow.
So I am one of those pioneer employees during that time.
How hard was it to get the job and to keep the job?
Actually, uh, since it is the first store of KFC in Baguio City, we were interviewed by not managers but psychologists.
What?
I don't know
Why?
why. Because maybe it's basically because the rule of KFC central office or what?
That's nuts. I'm like, it's with all due respect,
Yes.
you're just cooking chicken.
It's not that easy.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not that easy, but it's not
Yeah.
like you're trying to build a building.
Yes, correct. But maybe it's basically because it's the first store in Baguio City, so they wanted to have a good impact.
For sure.
So,
And during this time, you were going to school too?
yes. My schedule in school is from 7:30 to 9:30 in the morning, and then I will go to KFC by 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I will start my class by 4:30, and I will stop by 8:30 in the evening.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah,
Such a lot of work, man.
but it was very tough.
Yeah. What drove you?
Well, basically because during that time, me and my second brother is already in college. So we have a lack of resources also for the tuition fees and the payment of a boarding house. So I need to do my part to help my parents.
Were your parents working then?
Yeah, they
Okay.
are working, but still, if you are just coming from a middle class family, especially in the province, wherein the salary are just what they call this provincial rates. So basically, you need to do your part.
Exactly.
Especially I am eldest, so I
So
have to
after
adjust.
college, did you go to work in the Philippines or?
Yeah, even before graduating, I have already my work. So I my last job before I graduate is in Jollibee as store marketing assistant.
Okay.
And immediately after graduating, I have found job in Rosario, Cavite.
What kind of job?
I am a assistant supervisor in a woodworking entity.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, that story is basically because since I am a graduate of industrial engineer, so that is a production manufacturing. But on the final interview, the interviewer is absent, so I was presented to the general manager, and there is a opening for safety and health department. So I had grabbed the opportunity to enter on that venture. And maybe you won't believe me, I'm a graduate of engineering, but my first job is handling three nurses and three doctors as the supervisor of health department in the clinic.
What made them decide, like, oh, you know what, Norman's perfect for this position?
No, it's basically because during that time, it was already December of 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the person who is in charge on health department was not regularized, was not having the opportunity to be permanent.
Okay.
And in the Philippines, when you say December and you are coming from this field of work, occupational safety and health, there are a lot of reporting documents or reporting requirements
Mm.
from the government. That's why you need to fill it up. So the general manager asked me, "Are you willing to be assigned first in clinic to handle occupational health? And then eventually, when you are able to stabilize the system in clinic or in occupational health, you will be transferring to safety department."
Mhm.
Well, it has a blessing in disguise because whatever I had learned from that company is was my stepping stone from where I am right now.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, because there I have learned a lot, especially in occupational health. So the first
Like
times
what?
that, like for example, during my time, I think the Dangerous Drugs Act of the Philippines was still new. So you have to formulate a drug prevention and control team from your company. And I have learned that there are a lot of, like for example, the substance which is being controlled in the Philippines. I never knew that toluene, which is being used for painting, is a derivative ingredient of shabu because it makes the shabu crystallize.
Oh,
So
to.
this one you need to be you need to be this substances need to be controlled. So you need to
Mm.
register this one to the government.
Okay. So, how old were you then?
I was 24.
24. Did you have
Yeah.
your family then, your own family, or you're still single?
I'm still starting my family during that time.
You were married, or
Yes, yes.
but no kids?
No kids yet. No kids.
Okay. And you were crushing, you were doing a great job, you were enjoying your job.
Mm.
What made you decide to migrate?
Uh, After 3 years in Rosario, Cavite, I moved to Baguio.
Okay.
From there, uh, I was employed again as a HSE personnel for a government entity
What's
from
HSC? Or,
Health and Safety
okay.
Environment Officer. Yeah.
Okay.
And after 1 year, I have decided to migrate here in Qatar.
Okay. One
That's,
one quick question. Why did you quit that job that you like?
First, it's basically because during that time there has been a redundancy on the plantilla of the government of the company, and then of course because of my I have two kids during that time already, so because of the expenses plus the dream of giving them a better future, so I have decided to quit that job and go here in Qatar.
Okay. All right. Why did you choose Qatar?
As a matter of fact, it's only maybe I can tell it's an it's a what do you call this? A luck, or maybe it's a what do you call this? Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just tried my application through Job Street during that time.
What's Job Street?
Job Street, the website.
Okay.
I'm just submitting and submitting my resumes or CVs on jobstreet.com during that time. And whoever comes first to call me, then if the bargain is good, then I had chosen it. I have opted
Oh,
to,
so it wasn't you chose Qatar. It was
yeah,
Qatar chose you kind of deal.
maybe yes, because I have applications in Saudi, I have some applications in Kuwait, but none of them returned the call. And Qatar gave me a opportunity to talk to them. As a matter of fact, uh, way back 2007, the original plan is that I should be here by June 2007.
Mm.
But during that period, they are asking us to pay for some placement fee, something like that.
Okay.
And I asked the general manager who hired me that instead of paying some portion of the amount, could it be you who will be paying this amount by full, and I will uh, can you just be cutting it as a portion, piece by piece of my salary?
Mm.
So he agreed also, but instead of coming here in Qatar by June, it went as far as October 2007 because of these issues. But still lucky.
Yeah. How did you present it to your wife that you want to move to Qatar?
It has been a very hard decision. Well,
Mm.
basically because my youngest during the time was only 1 year old, and my eldest is 3 years old. Plus, we are just renting, and we are living on our own in Baguio City. So there has been a lot of discussion, and yeah, I can say that even up to now, if there are some times that we are having discussions, these things are being brought up.
I can imagine, man.
Yeah, and it's every time that I can remember those moments before I leave, it really hurts me a lot because on my mind, although my kids are already grown up, they are still babies for me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
they'll
every
always
time,
be babies for you.
yes, yes,
You could be 70 and they'll be like whatever age, like let's say 40, they will still
yeah,
be always be babies.
mm,
And yeah, I understand obviously that you missed their childhood, them
yes,
growing up,
yes,
and but obviously you're making your sacrifice
yeah.
to be away from them to give them a better life.
Mm.
Have you had a discussion with them about, hey, I'm here doing all this sacrifices for you? Because you know
Mhm.
how some kids are, they don't understand that. They like, oh, dad is being selfish. Instead of
Yeah,
spending time with us, he decided to move away.
yeah. Actually, there is a letter coming from my daughter,
Oh, that's
and I would
awesome.
like to share it with you because the one that we are discussing right now, yes, you are correct. There are some kids who cannot really comprehend or cannot really understand the sacrifices of their parents, why they have chosen to go away. But I am lucky that my kids can really understand, and
That's
even I
awesome.
can share it with you, the
Yeah.
content, because I know that it could also be an opportunity for the future listeners. That of course there are some, not some, but maybe there are also many kids who appreciate their parents who are going away, although it might not be obvious for them to show it, but they can always put it in writing.
For sure.
If
Before you continue, I just want to say to the listeners that Norman's actually holding a piece of paper that
yeah,
his daughter wrote a letter,
yeah,
like old school. I love it.
yeah.
So yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
Okay, yes. Dear Papa, we miss you so much. I may not be able to show it, but there was never a day that I didn't think of you, how you are doing, because I know it's hard for you. You never fail to be there for us, to make us smile, even if the days are dark for you. Thank you, Papa, for all your sacrifices. Thank you for putting our family above all. Thank you for being our Papa, because all that I am right now is because of your love and guidance. The world has been tough on you, but I have seen how strongly you face it with faith. Take care always, Papa. Stay strong. We love you so much. I just received this one yesterday.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Did you send it by mail?
No, actually, there was a one OFW also is coming from our country, and I asked a favor for her if I can let my family give something for me here in Qatar. So I was surprised when I opened a small piece of book that I asked them to buy for me, and there is something inside. So it made me
Uh,
cry actually.
Dude, I don't blame you, man. You're reading the mail. I'm like, I'm pushing my feelings down over here.
Yes, yes.
That's beautiful. That made me. How does that make you feel, hearing that from your daughter?
Yeah, I feel refreshed, but at the same time, it really hurts me a lot because, as I've told you, if there's one regret of becoming a OFW is I wasn't able to be with them, to witness them personally and physically, how
Yeah,
they grow up. That's why every time that I'm calling them, I still treat them like a baby, although they are already grown up now. Yes.
of course. How do you often come home?
Ah, I see to it that once a year I have a annual leave,
Once a year. That's awesome. For how long?
45 days, 30 to 45 days.
I mean, once a year, 30 to
Mm,
45 days. I mean, that's
it's
not
not
bad.
even enough. Yeah, it's not
It's
bad.
never enough,
Yes,
obviously.
yes, yes.
But if you compare to other OFWs or migrants from the
Yeah.
Philippines, that's a lot, to be honest.
Mm,
I just want to share to you, and I mentioned it on the podcast before, that I grew up without my mom too. She was an OFW as well, and she will
mm,
leave for 2 years and come back for a month. That's it, every 2 years.
mm.
Which is, yes, as a parent myself as well, of course I understand where you're coming from. I myself says to my friends that are migrants as well, like, I don't know how you guys do it to be
Mm.
away from the family. I'm a weakling, man. I can't. But obviously, coming from what you said, is you got to make the sacrifice to take care of these kids.
Yes, exactly.
You know. So when you finally got that paper for you to move to Qatar and work,
Mm.
how did you feel?
It's a mixed feelings actually. There is a feeling of hope that yes, maybe I can, because it's all uncertain during that time. Uh, on the other side, of course, there's a feeling of loneliness and of course sadness because I will leave my family alone. It's very difficult.
For sure.
Yes.
So when you arrived in Qatar, did anyone pick you up? How did you get
Mm.
to the job? Was there like an apartment that you're gonna stay in? Tell us.
Yeah. That is also one of my fond memories here in Qatar because you're a first timer to go out. And I reached Qatar by 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was picked up by 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was very
Whoa,
scared, basically because the driver assigned to me, he forgot to pick me up.
bro! What
Yes.
the?
And then what I did is, because there is sticker of the company on my passport at the back, so I had tried to call them, and fortunately, the receptionist was a Filipina, and she told that, oh, we already sent the driver to pick you up on that time, but maybe because of the lot of task that he did, he forgot to pick me up on time. So I nearly cried, but because we need to be strong now, we cannot do anything. We cannot go back to Philippines immediately. So the first thing I did when he picked me up is I bought immediately a calling card. I mean this card for calling in the Philippines, and I called immediately my family and my mom. Yeah, we have a apartment for all of us. At first instance, I didn't felt the loneliness because during that time, uh, all of us who are staying in the apartment is Filipino. So the first batch that arrived was June. Supposed to be I was on that batch. And then June, July, I was the last batch who arrived during that year,
Okay.
October 2007. So, and then in that apartment, they have 7 rooms. And in that room, there are 5 members who are staying in because it's a big room. So usually we call these rooms as celda. So I belong to Celda Uno.
But just for the listeners, seldom means prison cell.
Yeah, it's a part of the prison cell. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I was provided with good hospitality,
Mm-hmm.
and from there on, the rest is history already.
Mm-hmm. So, is there a reason? Because I've had guests before that
Mm.
told me this story. Is there a reason that it's always the Filipinos are together and the other uh, c- ethnicity are together? Is there a time that they mix you guys?
No, no. Oh, in that building, they have separate rooms with other nationalities,
Mm-hmm.
but they are not mixing up with the Filipinos. Well, basically, first, there's a difference on the smell of the food that we are cooking. Second is the preferences of the what do you call this? The preferences of the area that they would want to. Say, for instance, for the living room, they want it to be quiet and less of people. But we as Filipinos, we are fond of getting together, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So it's a different one. But
Okay.
still, there is a respect for each other because
Mm-hmm.
basically we are belonging to the same company.
Oh, of course. Um, what if you get into a fight? Do you get fired?
Yeah, of course. We had instances already.
Sent home?
Immediately, yes, immediately you will be deported.
Wow.
Yeah.
So obviously, you guys are mostly guys, full
Mm,
of you know being macho. How do
yeah.
you seem to be like a cool guy and
Mm,
very calculated. How do you keep that in check?
well, basically, you need to assess also the other people so that you know when to enter, when not to enter, how to refrain yourself from saying some things which you think might create some unnecessary things or bring you into collision.
Of course.
Uh, First is that because I'm a person who is always assessing the situation, and I'm an observant person. So if I know that the person whom I'm talking to is too much arrogant, I just stay put and put my shields on. But if I can observe that the person whom I'm talking to is comfortable also in the way we are intermingling with each other. And on my experience, there had been nothing because we are 21 on that apartment, all Filipinos. So we are all getting along as well.
Okay, that's good. So you mentioned that you live in this apartment with fellow kababayans,
Yes.
but they cannot help you with one thing
Hmm.
because you have to deal with it yourself. Homesickness.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
Uh, as a matter of fact, uh, I don't know how to say it, but during that time, yes, there might be a time that I am feeling homesick, but not as frequent as for the others. Well, basically because first, I was with these kababayans that we have. Second one, there are a lot of church activities that we've been through during that time. The third one is basically because of the type of the job that we have, because our client is coming from the oil and gas industry. So basically, plus I travel too far from Doha. So it's more than 100 kilometer per day.
Oh, you travel every day?
Yes,
Oh,
6 days a week.
whoo!
So you will never. The only time that you will find rest is during your sleeping time. Plus, when you have the break time in at the field, so that's the opportunity that you can call your family in the Philippines. Because
Oh
during that
man.
time, there is no video calls on cell phones. Wi-Fi is very limited. So it was only what do you call this? The pay phone that we are using. And then if you want to have a video chat with your family, you're going to go to computer shop and use the Yahoo Messenger.
Wait, you said phone booth. There must be a lineup on that phone booth.
Yes, yes, there is. And we have two types of phones here before, one for roaming and one for Qatar, because during that time there is no dual SIM phone.
Ouch. So when you're using the phone booth, is there like a unwritten law of like, hey, you can only use it for 30 minutes?
Ah, no.
You
Well,
can use it
as
whenever?
yes, as long as you are having the card or the coins.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean? Like if you have like 4 hours worth of cards,
Yeah,
I'm like, I want to talk
yes.
to my family too.
Yeah, there is, as long as you're the first one who goes there.
Oh my God.
But there are a lot of phone booth here. Not only the phone booth, but there are some individuals before on their home that they are doing these businesses.
Mm,
So it's either you go there late or you either go there early in the morning.
okay. So this might be a sensitive topic to you, but
Mhm.
I'm going to ask anyway.
Yeah.
In your opinion, how does an average Qatar citizen look at migrant workers?
Uh, for me, they are considering them as a partner rather than a slave. Discrimination will always be there, but here in Qatar, you cannot feel that one. Well, basically, because first, they have high regards with our Filipinos, not only the Filipinos, but for the other nationalities as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Because they know that when you say Filipinos, they are the first, they are the people who are first, who are firstly,
Hmm.
they are very hardworking people. Second one is that they are professional. And third one, irrespective of their level in life in the Philippines, they know how to speak English fluently.
Mm,
So there are some parameters. That's why uh, you cannot really feel the high discrimination here. For me,
okay.
it's an equal opportunity. Yes, there will always be, but you cannot really feel that one.
That's awesome. So I'm assuming you're working with other ethnicity like Sri Lankans, Indians. Um
Mm.
is there like a social ranking with immigrants? You know what I mean? Like the Qatar citizens are like, oh, the Filipinos, yeah, they're number one, and the other ones are number two.
No, no, I cannot feel that one
Mm,
because, as I've told you, uh, maybe there is, but the treatment, it's not on the surface itself. Maybe on the upper, on the deeper level, yes, there is.
mm,
But for a common person like me, because I have been with our company for almost 12 years,
mm.
and with the other contractors that we have also, plus the client as well, maybe I cannot observe this one properly, but on my opinion, I can. There is no ranking.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I love the positive outlook that you have.
Yeah.
Um, how do you think migration improve you and help you as a human being, as a man?
Well, basically, the first thing that I have learned when you migrate is that nobody will help you except yourself. Okay. And the second thing is that it helped me to be a more disciplined person
Mm,
in terms of uh, how do you carry on the lifestyle that could change your life when you become an immigrant. Because first, as compared before, you have the capability now to buy things, but uh, in a level of discipline wherein you need to think twice with your financial capability. Even me myself, it was just only lately that I have learned this, but it's a great opportunity that, yes, you need to have a more disciplined thinking when it comes to handling your financial, especially when you are an OFW. And the third one is that being an immigrant itself improves yourself uh, as an individual because of the multinational uh, level of people that you are dealing with daily. That's the best. I think that's one of the core reasons that I can say that this being an immigrant improved me as an individual. This three things.
well said, well said. Can you apply to be a citizen in Qatar?
We are not allowed to.
No one can.
No, except when you will marry a Qatari citizen, but basically these are for females only. But we, as immigrants from Qatar, will only be as residents, but you
Mm.
cannot apply for citizenship here.
Okay. But is it possible if you decide, and if obviously if you can afford it,
Mhm.
can you bring your family to Qatar and live?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. How come you
Uh,
haven't done that? Is there a reason, if you don't mind me asking?
yeah, it's basically because first reason is the financial because the the expenses of uh, taking kids here to study is very expensive. And then my kids now are all grown up, so they are already on the secondary school. So for example, my my eldest, 1 year from now, she will enter college. So there is no college here in Qatar.
Congratulations. What do you
So she
mean?
will still return to the Philippines when she will go for
What do
college.
you mean there's no college in Qatar?
There is no college universities for Filipinos here in Qatar.
Can she not go to like whatever university?
But that's a little bit expensive, of course.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. An
So,
average person like me cannot cope up with the expenses of
oh, of
the.
course,
Yeah.
I understand. So,
Yes.
you've been living in Qatar, working in Qatar for 12 years, like you mentioned.
Yes.
And this is a typical Filipino migrant story
Mm.
that in the someday you're going to be old and you won't be able to work anymore. And most of them comes home without no backup, no business, no uh, investment, nothing.
Mm.
And most of them, unfortunately, end up being where they started.
Yeah.
How are you? Is there a plan that you have placed that will prevent you from suffering from that fate?
Yeah. Actually, as I previously uttered a while ago, although it was late for me to start this one, especially on financial capability. As a matter of fact, I am studying right now also my master's degree in business administration.
Wow.
It's my second term right now. And I'll just give you a backstory. And one of my research in one of my subjects last sem is the financial uh, capability and what they call this financial literacy of OFWs.
Mm.
So I have learned from my research that the financial literacy of an OFW is not dependent on the knowledge that they have. For example, you and I, we know the meaning of taxes, we know the meaning of investment, we know the meaning of debit cards and credit cards, but we don't put this one into action. Okay? So this is the difference now. So there is a very little relationship because of this. Now, a few years back, uh, I have decided to enter into social, what do you call this? Social investments. So if yeah, maybe you asked me a while ago if there are some instances that I want to promote is that all of Ws now should uh, venture onto these types of investment because basically it will help you a lot. So these are the things that I'm doing right now. First, I am trying to build up my emergency fund because what I have learned is that these emergency funds should be at least 6 months equal to your salary or
Yes, sir.
9 months equivalent to your monthly expenses, something like this.
Yeah.
And then I also put some investment in Pag-ibig MP2.
Okay.
So it's a good opportunity also. Plus, me and my wife, we have a investment in cooperative in the Philippines.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good. I'm glad that you have those, and I'm glad that you are arming yourself with this knowledge. Because, like I said earlier, like Filipinos, they just like ubos biyaya.
Mm,
It means they'll just spend and spend without thinking.
yes, correct.
You
And I
know,
have learned from mistakes from the past also. I have been like that before.
those are the best ones.
Yes.
He'll correct you hard, man. That's like Manny Pacquiao's left hook.
Correct.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, how do you see yourself? Are you gonna stay in Qatar for longer, or are you planning to immigrate to a different country? What's your end goal?
Uh, my my second home is already here in Qatar. So job wise, our company from being a baby now it's already an adult. So I have been with them because we started the company as well. I was one of those new employees way back 2007.
Wow.
So it had gone through a lot of hardships also. So being a loyal employee to them, as long as they still need me, plus the fact that my kids are going to their college years in a couple of years from now. So my I can foresee myself at least staying 5 or 6 more years here because basically my kids are going for college.
Okay.
And I hope that during that time I would have the enough resources to go back home in the Philippines for good.
And
Of
start a
course, I don't
business?
want to be to start a business. That's the also reason
What,
why
a Mungo
I
business?
am among the business. Yes, whatever, as long as it could be a good business for us in the Philippines. That's the also reason why I'm studying my master's degree in business administrations, basically of that purpose also in the future.
Very impressive, very impressive. Listen,
Mm,
Norman, it's been such a pleasure. But before we end it,
yeah.
do you have any last remark or any topic that would you want to talk about? Get it.
Well, basically, uh, it's a great opportunity, first of all, to be with you this time.
Okay.
And for all the OFWs like me, I know these trying times is hard for all of us. But uh, let's keep moving. I know we have a lot of pressures in our own life, and we have different reasons why we are here. But we have to arm ourselves with the discipline that we need to. And of course, to always seek for God's enlightenment in everything that we do. Because as I've told a while ago, nobody can help yourself here except yourself only. So we always have to cling to the faith that we have in our confidence that God will never forsake us in the end. Plus with our family and loved ones also.
I'm right.
Yeah.
Wise word from a wise man. Again, Norman, thank you. I really do appreciate it for your time and your knowledge that you have shared to us.
Thank you very much for this opportunity that you have given to me. And I hope that our listeners had something to gather on these situations or the things that we have talked about. And congratulations, sir, for this one. And continue to do the good deeds for our fellow kababayans.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. Good evening also, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
God bless.
Again, Norman, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Aaron Del Yosa for An Immigrant's Life. I'll see you guys later.